was, God, I was so scared. I mean, I couldn't stop thinking about my family and my friends. I couldn't stop thinking about this book my mom owns called Deaths in Yosemite, and how I thought that I was going to be another one of those. The day before I went on this trip, a woman had died not 3 miles from where I live in Yosemite, probably about 10 miles from where I was at. I was scared that my life was going to end in 22 years, that, you know, that I was never going to grow up, you know, that I was never going to be out of college, that I was never going to, you know, see my family or have a family. And it was, you know, all those things that I was looking forward to, I didn't think I was ever going to do. I don't think I've ever seriously contemplated death. I mean, I've had near-death experiences, but I never seriously thought I was going to die before. And this was, I mean, it was staring me directly in the face. So I'm making my way down, and it's about, I'm probably about 60 or 70 feet from the top, and I get to a point where I have my stomach to the mountain, and I'm holding on, and I'm going over to this watery spot, and I slipped, and I ended up sliding down the side of this mountain for about 70 feet or so, and luckily I was at a spot where I was directly above a big ledge. You know, had it been anywhere else, I probably would have just kept tumbling down the mountain, and, you know, if that happened again, I didn't think I'd be lucky enough to land someplace, you know, where I could, you know, survive. And this is the 13th of July, in the middle of July, and there's a frozen lake. So it doesn't get, you know, it doesn't stay above freezing at night. It's below freezing, and I'm in a t-shirt and shorts. There's no way that I'm about to survive this. So I end up dropping down this rock, and I hit, and I go to my chest, and I start sliding down the rock, and I dig my fingers in, my toes in. I'm just like, I have to stay on this. And I slid for about 6 or 7 inches, and then I stopped. And I'm looking at a 40-foot drop-off down to rocks. And actually, I mean, I haven't cried in years, and I cried at least twice. I told myself, you know, the only way you're ever going to see your parents or your family again, you know, you can't sit here and wait. You know, you will freeze to death if you stay here. You know, the only way that I'm going to get off this rock is by jumping off this cliff. I had these big clouds coming overhead, and when the sun was being covered by these clouds, and I told myself, once these clouds, you know, pass over the sun, I'm going to jump. So the cloud passed, and I jumped off. I hit, I'm not sure if I hit, you know, almost upside down or on my side or what, but I cracked my neck, and I just started tumbling. I tumbled for about 100 feet down the snow. And when I stopped, I moved my arms, I moved my legs. I knew something was wrong with my back. My back hurt really, really bad, but I could move. So I was like, okay, you know, I can get out of here. About another 100 feet. From there, I was on these really loose rocks, and I hiked for about 400 yards. And this whole time I'm looking at my cell phone, because I knew I had cell service. And if I could get cell service down in the valley, I thought that, you know, I'd be able to get a call through. I mean, I knew I could walk, so it's funny because what I did is I just threw my arms in the air in triumph because I knew I was going to live. Once I got the cell service and I called in, it took about an hour and a half for the helicopter to come get me. And this was an incredibly active day because I went from a helicopter to a Park Service ambulance. From the Park Service ambulance, I went to a Mammoth ambulance. Mammoth ambulance, I went to Mammoth Hospital. When I was at the Mammoth Hospital, they looked at me and said they thought that it was an unstable break. My life was 40 feet below me, and I had to jump to it. And that was the craziest thing I've ever done. I literally look at every day like it could be my last. I've actually been back to Yosemite once before, and I will go back again.
I actually want to revisit the spot that I went to, but from the bottom up, not from the top down.